Video game consoles have entrained dozens of entire generations in recent years, and there are some consoles that have more sales than others. That's why I today present the 10 best-selling video game consoles in history. Number 10. Game Boy Advance. Nintendo's second handheld console that really made a generation leap. The Game Boy Advance arrived in 2001 as a 32-bit portable device that brought together all the good things that the Game Boy had brought, as well as returned to the Super Nintendo era. With adaptations of games from that console, the 81 million units sold showed that the midst of the polygonal era, the players still want sprites. Number 9. Nintendo Switch. Since March 2017, as for March of 2021, Nintendo Cyber Console has sold 80.5 million units between its two models. The standard, which allows it to be connected to a television, and Nintendo Switch Lite, a portable-only console. The success that the latest machine of the Japanese company is having is motivated, in addition to its original proposal, by a catalog full of juries such as Zelda Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, Fire Emblem, Three Houses, and support from the third parties and independent developments that have not been sent on Nintendo for a long time. Number 8. Xbox 360. For its second console, Microsoft delved into hardware from the first Xbox. It improved online gaming, gave even more relevance to its main sagas and studios such as Resident Evil, and continued to be powered. But it also focused on something that gave it quite an advantage over the PS3 during the first few years: the accessibility of the platforms of development, which made many cross-platform games work better and relatively less powerful console that is competitive. The console was sold with different sizes of hard drives and had two revisions. In 20, in 2014, Microsoft announced that it had sold 80 million units, but adding the sales figures in various territories up to 2016, the total figure rise to approximately 80 million units sold. Number 7. PlayStation 3. Sony's third home console did not get off a good start. It reached to market as a price of 600 euros, which was 200 euros more than Xbox 360 and 350 300 350 euros compared to Wii. However, the machine was having revisions that lowered functionalities such as backward compatibility, exchange of decreasing price, as big exclusivities like Uncharted 2, Hidden Rank, and Killzone 2 arrived. The tables run. With The Last of Us, it catalog of exclusive games that closed, one of the reasons why it placed more than 87.4 million as of March of 2017. It stopped being distributed in Japan in May of that year. Number 6. Wii. Announced before its launch as Nintendo Revolution, Wii hit the video game market by sweeping everything, running out of the store shelves, and reintroducing Nintendo into the battle of you. To you, this its competitor, the influence of the machine has been noted in accessibility of video game, party games, and above all, the motion sensors that Microsoft and Sony replicate. The console sold with only one revision, 101 million units, partly due of the difference in price. While PS3 started at 600 euros and Xbox 360 at the 400 euros. We have released in December of 2006 for 250 euros and with a free game that is among the best sellers in the history, Wii Sports. Number 5. PlayStation. With the first PlayStation, Sony entered the video game market as streamlord. Characteristics such as reproduction of musical CDs and video game catalog that appealed more than young people and less to children, the console managed to eliminate in part that idea. Interactive entertainment is for the smallest of the house. In its catalog, there are games of entertainment such as Metal Gear Solid, Final Fantasy VII, Wipeout, Gran Turismo, and countless other games. Number 4. PlayStation 4. Despite the fact that many predicted that this would be the last generation of consoles and that in its first months it did not have a particularly brilliant catalog, PS4 was the best seller from day one, and almost 7 years after its launch has already purchased the mythical PlayStation as of October of 2020. Sony has played 130 million units, part of the plan of his games like God of War, Spider-Man, The Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima, Horizon Zero Dawn, and Uncharted 4 at its end, but also first-party games like Fireproof, Grand Theft Auto 5, Call of Duty, and FIFA. Number 3. The Game Boy. Game Boy revolutionized the portable video game and swept against the proposal of Sega, Bandai, Atari, and other companies that tried to replicate success, trying the advantage of limitations. With 118 million sales, but this small device with a monochrome screen managed to stick into the homes and backpacks around the world thanks to Tetris phenomenon and also by having a vast catalog of games such as Legend of Zelda, Link's Awakening, and Kirby's Dream Land, and of course, Pokemon. Number 2. The Nintendo DS. Few anticipated the success of the Nintendo DS, the Japanese company made the risk decision to abandon the Game Boy front from the dual-screen handheld console. The choice was correct because since the launch of the console in March 2005, two fronts have been attacked. They continue to support the saga's typical video games of the big end, such as New Super Mario Bros., Pokemon, and Mario Kart DS, and it tried to innovate with proposals that create new players with brain training, Nintendo's, and many others. Successive revisions with Nintendo DS Lite and Nintendo DS and their larger models made Nintendo DS sell most of the 50% more than the mythical Game Boy, with 154 million units sold. Number 1. The PlayStation 2. PlayStation 2 have released in 2000 with a high price of time and accompanied by television commercials directed by David Link. The most popular console in history followed the path of the first generation. PS2 had a DVD player that allowed it to enter the living rooms of many homes, just as the first PSX with the game with CDs. Also, if PlayStation was the example that video games could appeal to an adult audience, PS2 established that idea. Among its circuits, works such as Ratchet and Clank and Jak and Daxter that been executed, but the Silent Hill saga was also a development. The GRPG expanded with Final Fantasy X and Dragon Quest VIII. Enthusiasm from the open worlds that generated with Grand Theft Auto 3 and other ideas were exploded with Shadow of Colossus and ICO. As of December 31 of 2021, it has sold more than 155 million units. So that's all. Thanks for watching. Bye.